Hey guys, how you doing today? I am out and about. It is an extremely windy day today, so I think I'm just gonna have a seat in a little nook here that I have found that is protecting me from the wind, as you can see, like big barricade of stone. Really helps out. So today's video is going to all be about climate change, and more specifically about a climate change rally that is happening on the 19th of March. I wish I had have found out about this sooner. This is exactly the kind of thing I want to be reporting on and exactly the kind of thing I want to be talking about. I'm going to put a link in the description below to directly to it. It's an online climate change rally. It's an organization that is calling for climate change strikes, that is calling on the government. What's the hashtag? It's hashtag Act on Your Promises. And this organization, Climate Strike Action, is attempting to get the government to actually move forward on the promises that they made regarding climate change. Good luck, haha. Yeah, the Trudeau government keeping their promises. That's hilarious. But we do need to actually do something about climate change. This COVID crisis that we have all gone through has kind of washed it all away, has washed away our concern for climate change. It seems like everything has become very immediate, everything's become very present and day to day with COVID, which eventually will begin to happen with climate change. We are very fortunate here in Canada. We're in this sort of position where we can, where climate change, it seems to be affecting us in positive ways, right? The days are warmer, everything's nicer, the winter doesn't last as long. But there does come a point where we need to actually start being quite concerned about things like food shortages, right? Like that eventually does start to occur. We've got to start being concerned about the impact on our agricultural base, right? Like you can't grow food in an ever-expanding desert. The Trudeau government has done very tiny, very almost well, they've done exactly what liberals do, right? They create small little incremental reforms. They create a carbon tax, which is basically assuring that there will always be opposition to the government. The carbon tax basically says to your rural farmer base, the people who are actually growing your food, oh, hey, you need fuel to power those machines in order to grow food? Well, that's going to be more expensive. So you're always going to have opposition. My position on what we need to be doing is that we need to be remodeling our entire economy and restructuring our entire economy to a war economy. We haven't even begun to do this. We have, but and I'm talking like full scale with rations, like the whole enchilada. Like we can't rely on free market capitalism, or capitalism is in a general sense, to resolve this issue for us, because capitalists don't actually think in long-term ways, and capitalism requires war, theft, and destruction and enslavement in order to propagate itself. That if we were to move forward with a system that would actively fight climate change, that system would no longer be capitalism. It would have to be eliminated. It would have to be restructured into something that looked very different from capitalism. And what are the capitalists actually doing to fight climate change? Well, they're actually running a series of grifts in order to claim as though they are interested in fighting climate change, when in reality what they're doing is clear-cutting forests, calling it biomass instead of what it is, which is clear-cutting forests, and then burning them for power. They're erecting gigantic solar plants, which actually end up just being natural gas plants. I highly recommend everybody go watch Planet of the Humans. It's a Michael Moore presented film, but it was actually done by another organization. And they really, really go through in painstaking detail how the environmental movement, the green movement, has essentially been co-opted by capitalists who have seized the opportunity to make a quick buck for themselves by grifting the populace into believing that they are moving forward with green initiatives, when really it's nothing of the sort, right? The biomass one is the absolute, like, the people who are doing that should be tried as traitors to Canada, like, period. The people who are claiming that they are fighting for green initiatives while clear-cutting our forests in order to, power like an SUV, these people should be tried and charged and jailed, and the politicians that have gone along with them should be tried as well. We are getting to a point where the only solution that's left to the populace, because our elected officials are so cowardly and spineless on this issue, we've gotten to a point as a populace where the only thing that is left for us to do is to go on strike, is to hold mass, large-scale general strikes, to really take to the streets. Of course, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and so we can't do that. We have to go online. I still recommend participating if you can. I still recommend following that link, because this is seed planting, right? This is, we keep hearing build back better, right? Well, how do we build back better? We hold enormous, massive online rallies while we can, which then that energy will transfer onto the streets. And when I say mass strikes, like, we really do need to shut the thing down. Like, it's no longer the case that we can move forward in the manner that we are moving forward. And the great irony about what's going to happen to us is that the fossil fuels run out, right? And so the question that we are really asking ourselves is, when they run out, do we want to have arranged our society so that, with a series of agreements, so that we can actually facilitate a transition into something that's more reasonable, or do we just want to wait for it to run out and let the free market decide, right? Well, we've seen what the free market does with the COVID crisis. We know exactly what the free market will do. It will abandon large sections of the populace. It will plunge the society into poverty and desperation. We know this is true. Like, this is just facts at this point, that capitalism isn't actually interested in resolving any problems for the populace. It's interested in enslaving the populace, destroying large sections of the populace, hollowing out cities, hollowing out communities, so that 5 people can have more money in their bank account than most national governments actually have in their entire economy. Like, it is an absolute grotesque reality that someone like Jeff Bezos has, like, hundreds of billions of dollars, while we are going through a climate change crisis that could be resolved with that capital, with those finances. And people in the future are going to look at us, and they are really going to look at us like we are lemmings running off a cliff. They're just going to scratch their heads and be like, why didn't they stop and actually try to get anything done? Why didn't they, what happened so that they went along with obvious con men and grifters who are obviously lying to them about their commitment to these issues? And hopefully my channel will be the most popular channel in the world by then. So people will look at it and be like, oh, here's a guy who's actually talking about it and documenting it to a certain extent, that what is happening to us as a species is that the ruling class has detached itself from reality, is no longer interested in governing, is no longer interested in helping the society that props them up, and has transferred itself into a kind of harvesting period, right? This is what capitalism is doing. to us at this stage, that we are no longer viewed as people, where the society needs to be structured to support human life. We are viewed as commodities to be bought and sold, that capitalists do not care if we die in the streets, homeless and alone. They care if we can make a widget for them for a penny a day, or less. That the cold reality of the capitalist system is that as long as the people who own all of the assets and who own everything don't have to do any work and don't have to participate in any kind of meaningful way in the society, while the rest of us do all their work for them rather, then the capitalists are happy, right? And of course, the capitalists are so detached and unable to think rationally, or empathetically or compassionately, or as if they are a human. They're so detached from reality that something like climate change doesn't really matter to them, right? Their entire life is living in their gated communities, and going golfing, right? You take a look at people like Donald Trump. Like I consider Donald Trump to actually be, in terms of his personality and who he is, I consider him to be pretty average capitalist, right? Like, just, this is what capitalism is. These are what capitalists are. And they're not interested in helping you, right? And they're not interested in preventing this preventable crisis that is actually occurring right in front of our very eyes. Like, it is like we are standing in front of a house fire, holding an enormous hose, and all we have to do is turn on the pumps to start actually spraying water all over this burning house fire. But instead of doing that, and the only reason we're not doing that is because the one owner of the society has actively shorted this society and said, no, this society will collapse, and if it does, I'll make $1 billion. Like, the capitalists are literally betting against us, right? They're betting against us, and they're betting that we will fail, and they're betting that when the society collapses, they will be the ones that are on top. It's the classic line, right? It's better to rule in hell than serve in heaven. That the capitalists would much rather sit atop the society as it smolders in ruin than be equals with us in a rational structure. And this is why, like, we do need mass scale general strikes. We need to remove our labor from the market, from the capitalist class, and demand that action is actually taken. Because capitalists don't listen to anything else. They're very selfish. They're not interested in fostering human life or helping people. And so withholding our labor and organizing under climate action is exactly what we need to do at this stage in the game. We don't have an alternative, right? Our political class has been completely purchased by the capitalist class, which is actively seeking to destroy us, and doesn't actually care, right? Like, we are to a point where this is a national security issue, but we're refusing to, like, the liberals are willing to call it an emergency, but then do absolutely nothing about it. Like, we're in this extremely staggering period of time. And if we don't actually organize as citizens and take action as citizens, then the capitalists will happily profit from our burned corpses. All right, this is going to be the end of me, guys. If you've made it to the end of this video, you have to subscribe. I think those are the rules. Please like the video. That's free to do. Please share it around. Please share it around. We need more people to be aware of these climate change rallies. We need more people to attend and organize with these kinds of organizations. We need more energy. We need more people power. We need the entire nation at this stage in the game to actually fight back against these capitalists. Yeah, you guys are doing great out there. Don't let these guys gaslight you. They pay billions and billions of dollars to gaslight you on a daily basis, and to isolate you and to make you think that you're crazy and to misinform you. Don't let them. Good luck. We're going to need it.